Okay, we're going to take a look at 1C and 1D. Now, in 1C, notice there are more than one variables. We have an m, an x, a w, but it's asking us to solve for x. So this equation has the same structure as one with variables on both sides. And when we do that, we want to collect our variables on one side and our constant terms on the other. But in this case, there's not going to be constant terms. There's going to be a negative w and a 2m. So let's start off by making our variable x 0 on the left-hand side and take away 6x from both sides. If you bring down the equal sign, you're just left with 2m on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, you still have a negative w, and you have a positive 3x. So because we want to isolate the variable x is being multiplied by 3 and added to a negative w. So we want to make everything 0 on the same side of the equal sign as x. So what we're going to want to do is get rid of this w, negative w, by adding a w, because negative w plus w is 0. And then we're just going to be left with the 3x on the right-hand side of the equal sign. Now on this side, because we did the plus w to the right, we're going to have to do it to the left. And so we have 2m plus w. Now we cannot add 2m plus w because they're not like terms, so we're just going to leave it like that. And now the only thing that's attached to the x is this times 3. So the way you undo multiplication by 3 is by dividing by 3. The 3's want each other. And so on the right hand side you're left with an x. Now what we do to the right, we do to the left. And we'll just go ahead and leave this as 2m plus w all over 3. That's how you solve for x. Now letter D, unlike letter C, has just one variable x. So we could solve for x. It's going to give us x equals some number. Okay, like a good old-fashioned answer. So before we start using the properties of equality, that is adding and subtracting from both sides, we're going to use the distributive property to simplify it a little bit. We're going to multiply negative 2 by x and get negative 2x, and negative 2 by negative 5, which gives us positive 10. And then when we distribute the 7 into this parentheses, we get 7x plus 77. So again, we want to make our variables on one side 0 and our constant terms on the other side 0. So we have a variable, a constant term, equal sign, a variable, and a constant term. So let's make the variables on the left-hand side 0, and let's make the constant terms on the right-hand side 0. So the way you make negative 2x 0 is by adding 2x, and then what you do on one side you do to the other, plus 2x. So 10 is equal to 9x plus 77. Now let's eliminate our constant terms from the right-hand side. So we make negative 77. We take away 77 to make those positive 77 0. Take away 77. So negative 67 is equal to 9x. Okay, if we add 10 plus negative 67, it gives us negative 77, it gives us negative 67. So now that we have nothing but variables on one side, constant terms on the other, now we're ready to divide. That's the last step here. And so 9 is being multiplied by x, so we're going to divide by 9. Divide both sides by 9. Division property of equality. These want each other. X is equal to negative 67 over 9.